Well, greetings and hello there. It's NOOCH and the Gerbil and Asteroid Mech here once again on our bi-weekly submission for your approval. Talking about Galaxy Heroes, what's going on today is Jar Jar. We're going to rank some TV shows. We're going to have a good old time. So, we'll start with you, Gerbil. How's it going, man?
Doing pretty good. Just saying recently, well, before we started the show, I've been really overwhelmed with work and whatnot, which is why my channel is kind of a desert right now. But hopefully things will calm down and I'll get back to creating and posting some good stuff soon.
Well, you'll need to because Jar Jar's coming out next week. So, hey, what about you, Asteroid Mech? How's it going?
I am doing great. Like last time we talked on this show, I was doing my finals, and I am in the middle of my finals yet again. So that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I've been doing good, having some fun in the game, and I'm excited to talk Jar Jar.
Yep, this is the study break for Asteroid Mech. Well done, young man. All right,
Thank you.
guys, let's take a look at the kit. I got the kit up on the screen right now with you lovely fellas. So my first reflection is, again, I love the smiling Gungans. Sanjita hated it. he hated the smiling phalanx. I think it's great. I think it's perfect. I love the art. And I personally, and of course, you know, reading entire kits is exhausting, but I love the 0.001 chance of the world is on fire stuff. I think that's tremendous, and I think it's a really, or 1% chance that they're separatist enemies, but I love it. I think it's a great kit, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's what I expected it to be. So, what are your guys' thoughts?
Take it away, Asteroid Mech.
All right, I will take it away. I could not agree more. I'm very, very happy with this kit. I think this is going to be something very unique that the game hasn't really done in a sense with the 0.001% chance. And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, don't recall any abilities that have the chance at doing one of three things. I think that throwing that into this kit is going to offer something that we've not experienced in the game before. Just not going into a battle, not knowing what you can do is going to be really interesting. I'm very excited to see the possibilities with that. And I'm very interested to see how he will work in galactic challenges with the phalanx. That'll be great.
Wait,
wow.
You're very interested to see how he works in galactic challenges, really?
No, I'm not interested at all.
Okay, I was going to say, whoa.
I was offended that they thought that anyone was going to apply that Omicron, but whatever.
Oh no, I kind of think that was intentional misdirection. You know, it's like one of those break glass in case of fire things, right? Like I think that they know that there's some pent up frustration on a few topics, and so why not just throw out an Omicron? We know we're going to all forget everything else, ignore every other problem and concern, focus our anger and hate, and all become Sith over this, and then we get something really fun and we forget all about it. I think that that's kind of what they were thinking.
I think they were thinking they can sell some Omicrons to endgame players who don't have any Omicrons, or new players who just want some. I mean, I think that the half their money now is made on Lightspeed bundles, which wasn't the case, you know, until October. And I just wonder if maybe there's endgame players or spenders in the mid game that don't have any Omicrons, and they want to get the red crate every single time for whatever reason. I don't get obsessed with red crates in general. So, but regardless. Now I have a question. So the message here says sound on for the graphics, and my sound is on, and I don't hear anything. Is there a button on here I'm missing?
I did the exact same thing when I did my kit reveal video. I was like, oh, sound on, and then I like stared at it for a second. I'm like, wait, okay, whatever. I think maybe they're just saying that you want the sound on when you're playing the team in the game. Maybe like that's what me and my chat came to the conclusion of, is that was referring to in game when they release it. But that doesn't make sense. I don't know why they put that in the kit reveal.
No, there's some weird phrasing, I think, in a lot of these kit reveals. But yeah, as I understand, they later followed up on, I think like Scribe did a video with Meathead, and I think that they were talking about the quality of the sound effects, that we're going to like the voices and stuff. He wouldn't confirm if, and you guys said it before the show, Keller and Beck's actor's name, who is that?
Ahmed Best.
That's
Yes, he wouldn't confirm if he actually voiced anything for the game or not.
that'd be
But
awesome.
That'd be great.
It
Oh my
would.
God.
Let me ask this. So, just generally speaking, these Gungans are built to kill separatists. But we all know that we don't really have a big problem with separatists. Like, there's not a separatist problem that's being solved in the game. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
obviously Grievous isn't like just a walkover unless you have Wampa, and then he just is a walkover. And really, people have generally saved him for offense now because you plug him in the right spot and he can do some cool things. And then a Newt team or a Trench team can do some stuff. But again, they're usually on offense, not defense. So do you think something separatist is coming after this? Or maybe the next GL, maybe the GL that's coming this year will be separatist. But then I wouldn't think this team is going to be composed to compete with a GL. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts about that? The separatist, I don't know what you call it. Separatist
Counter.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think one of three things that I think that they included this for, one of three reasons. One, they really, really overestimated the stat, which I don't think that's very likely. Two, they have more separatist units coming out that they're going to use to flesh out a Trench team and not have to overlap with Grievous or take from Darkside Mandalorians or whatever, and maybe not put WAD on that team. Whatever they're trying to do with that, maybe they're just going to put more separatists in to fill out those teams. Or three, I think the most likely option, I do think it is going to be a Galactic Legend Darth Tyrannus. I think that's, I would want to see that the most. I think that makes the most sense if you look at factions that don't have a Galactic Legend that we're currently focusing on in the game. We got a light side GL with Leia. Next one, dark side. We don't have separatists. We're doing Clone Wars. Dooku makes sense. I think that's what we're looking at here.
I think as a 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, that makes a lot of sense. But I am also kind of wondering if we are going to get a GL this year or not. I think like on a recent show, NOOCH and I were talking to Scribe, who had this theory that there's not going to be a GL this year. And I can kind of see that with the rate of flow of things that are coming out. Like we're going to get Amidala, of course, soon, but then we're going to need 2 more key characters for her. And then there's a lot of stuff happening. And with the new raid coming out, kind of the timing now, it makes it feel unlikely to get another raid by the end of the year. And they've been kind of tying raids to GLs. So I don't know, but you know, they could do anything they want. I definitely think we're going to get more separatists, though. I absolutely think we're going to get more separatists this year. And I think that there are still other ways that the Gungans can shine in the game, because most of their anti-separatist kits, as if I remember correctly, the enemy squad doesn't have to be all separatists. You only need one present. So, like, if there's a if it's a bounty hunter squad and Jango's there,
okay,
it activates them. Or what would be another one, like a Newt or not Newt, Maul, right? Jango is a Mandalorian, right?
Yep.
Isn't he a Mandalorian? Yeah. So if he's on a Mandalorian squad, all of their buffs trigger. So I think that there are more like opportunities than just Grievous or maybe a Newt squad.
Interesting.
I agree.
And I think you're right. I think it's a good question about the cadence of release, right? Like, by now we knew that the Leviathan was coming out like last year, right? And so we got through the first set of characters, and we did, I think it was Dr. Afra at the beginning of last year. And then we already knew the Leviathan was coming. We were already getting ships for it. Or maybe we already had the ships, but we were being, we knew there were. And then, I think it was July when we started getting characters for Leia Organa. So it would be pretty tough to squeeze a capital ship and a Galactic Legend unless they just kind of, maybe they delay it down the road. Maybe we don't get the Galactic Legend until December or something. But we got to get Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. They've already told us they're coming. Are those the next 2 conquest characters? So is that a slow release over the next 6 months with the next 2 conquests? I think there's a lot of really good questions in there about what the rest of the year is going to look like. And then if they slow release Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan over the next 2 conquests, you're talking about Phantom Menace content basically for the full year. It'll take up, because that's still Phantom Menace. And then I'm a big proponent of Darth Tyrannus. They haven't done they really stuck with the real person models, and they just changed Yoda to the real model yesterday, which I'm kind of whatever.
Oh,
And yeah, there was
Wait,
an
it's in the
update
game?
yesterday which made my game run really, really slow for like 10 minutes.
yeah,
And-
we're both like, what?
And when
I
you
didn't
when you
notice
go look at Yoda, it's movie Yoda. Yeah, so which whatever. I don't know that was necessary, but I get it. Especially if they're going to with the we were talking about, maybe we can transition to the PC stuff here, but with the PC version coming, going to more of a graphically oriented character models, especially with Yoda, was really pretty intricate when you look at him. Maybe that's what they're going to go to on the PC model. And I don't know. What do you guys? Let's talk about that state of the game and the PC and what's coming out. Let's switch it up here. I'm going to switch the screen right now.
All right, I'll jump in on this one real quick first. So I am really stoked about a PC model, even though I am a Mac user. I am just like dying and waiting to find out. We were saying earlier, porting it from iOS, iPad to Mac should be really, really simple. I mean, I'm not a coder, but I know plenty who are and develop for both platforms, and they have purposefully been integrating the two so that you can export one to the other super fast. So I'm hopeful, but I think for like content creators, the three of us, it's going to simplify a lot of our workflows, because you don't need, if you're on PC, you don't need BlueStacks. You can just do a live screen recording right there in the game. I mean, I think it's going to make our lives a lot easier. I think it'll expand the player base. My concern is, though, if they don't update some of these models, like, I know I'm the Ewok guy, but like, have you actually looked at the state of some of the older models, like a Tebow? Like it is pretty nasty. And if you take that Tebow character, for example, and you throw him up on a 27-inch screen, like if you're gaming on a full screen, or maybe you got a 42-inch or something bigger, or oh man, that's going to look like 1995 all over. And that's not a good first impression for people who may download the game, because a lot of the older characters are the ones you unlock first. So like if I say to my kid back in the States, I'm like, hey, go download. You're going to, play with dad on this game. He's going to look at that and go, man, these graphics suck. So that's my worry.
Imagine using imagine you're playing the game through, like you're playing through it for the first time on PC, and then you get to the raid, and then you use the Ewoks in the raid, and that's their models. That would be
Pixelated Ewok butt,
yeah.
3 inches tall, right in front of you.
I don't know what they were thinking with that, man.
Well, they'll have the new
No,
raid out
like-
by then, so no more butt crack.
Right,
hope.
true.
Yeah,
we
Yeah,
hope.
true.
Well, yeah.
Gungan butt crack.
Backtracking just a little bit to what you were saying about the Padawan it's a Padawan Obi-Wan and an updated Qui-Gon, right? I don't think they're going to be conquest characters, because they've already confirmed that they'll be in the raid. So
Oh,
if the
did they?
conquest characters pushing them out, yeah, because they said they'll be part of Amidala's team, is what
Yeah.
I recall.
I remember them
could be
saying
wrong.
that I remember them saying that they were going to be marquees released by the end of the third Padme conquest cycle. I think that's
Well-
what they
Oh,
said.
wow.
Let's talk about that then. So you could very easily have Padawan Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon tie into a Darth Tyrannus. I mean, that'd be very easy.
Oh yes.
Yep, for sure.
And then double down on the raid increases more incentive for whales and spenders to
Right.
get it immediately.
Right.
For sure.
I don't know. Just a
So if we're going to go with a Darth Tyrannus, who else would be likely requirements?
Will they be able to put Barris into requirements finally?
Grandmaster Yoda.
Yeah,
probably.
but I mean, what are you gonna do with him? Now he's got to go relic, because he's already relic 8 for Kenobi.
Oh, he is Relic 8. you're right.
Yaddle would make an amazing
I like
marquee.
that. Yeah,
Because-
Yaddle.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, people, and turn off for 20 seconds.
Well,
Yaddle gets owned by Dooku.
a bunch
yeah.
of Night Sisters. A bunch of Night Sisters, maybe.
Yes.
They'll throw like Initiate and Acolyte in there just to make your life miserable.
Savage.
Yeah,
Savage
Savage has to be.
Is
Adventurous.
Savage a requirement for anyone?
Gas. But there's
Oh,
no
really?
relic minimum.
Okay.
You can go with
Oh,
some.
but no
you could,
GL.
oh, you said Savage. I'm sorry. I went to Asajj. Whoa, man, brain not working.
No. Yeah, that's okay. Because Savage was temporarily Dooku's apprentice.
Yep.
I mean, he was a planted assassin.
Thing about that though is if they did SWGOH, they'd have to make him like a Relic 9 because everybody's already got him Relic. You know,
Right.
but that wouldn't be the first time. That's a pretty big climb from Relic 5 to Relic 9. But
Okay.
I would say
I'm
SWGOH
starting
has
to
to
get
be
a
in
little
there,
excited.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean,
yeah, okay. I'm starting to get a little excited about this
See?
possibility here, gentlemen.
yeah. I don't even know what else they would do following the route that we're going down, unless they went like they pivoted hard and did something else. But I mean, the only other thing I could think of would be Chancellor Palpatine, but I feel that would be hard to do. I don't know.
I think Chancellor Palpatine would make a great character, especially if they introduce him as a neutral, make him a
Yeah.
neutral GL, and where he has synergies with both light and dark side. But his ultimate goal is to diminish his allies, similar to Sith Eternal. I
And
think that could be
Kylo.
kind of fun.
Kind
Yeah.
of.
Well,
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, and Kylo.
I was gonna say that's why I don't think we're gonna get Chancellor Palpatine, is because we already have a Palpatine Galactic Legend. You're gonna add a second Palpatine Galactic Legend. I think Chancellor Palpatine is more likely as a conquest unit, personally.
But given that he is the instigator of the entire Skywalker saga, though, kind of makes sense.
I mean, I agree. It would make sense. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But my thing is that it seems like, to me anyways, they're adding like the ultimate or definitive version of the character, or like the most powerful version of the character as the Galactic Legend, which makes sense. But when I agree that it makes sense as a Galactic Legend. I don't know if they're gonna double up on units on certain characters as Galactic Legends. I could see it. I'm not confident in that.
I could see it now. His ultimate, like that Senate chamber thing, flies up and he stands up tall on it and takes away 2 minutes from the game clock.
That'd be
It
really
just
funny.
talks.
He breaks the fourth wall.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't that be? Oh man, that would piss off. I don't know if I can say that. That would really upset so many people.
He comes out and he says,
Sorry about that.
"You will pay the price for your lack of spending."
But seriously, a really cool ultimate would be if he executed Order 66 and had a bunch of cutscenes of like clone troopers shooting the enemies. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
Would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're coming up with some good ideas today to give us all hope.
Well, rebellions are built on hope.
Absolutely.
So what else? So let's I think we got through that. What about the game in general right now? I just kind of wanted to have a state of the game conversation. I know how I feel about it, where the game is right now, with the mobile version coming up and Lightspeed bundles are now kind of established, sort of. We've only really gone through one round of them. We don't really know. I assume it's going to be very soon we'll get Lightspeed bundles. We don't know what it's going to consist of. We still don't know how this is going to work with them. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the state of the game right now in general?
Well, just really quick. Again, you guys probably correct me if I'm wrong. I could be completely making this up, but I think they said that they don't have a specified cadence for Lightspeed bundles. I think.
I don't recall.
I thought they made a comment on that somewhere. I don't know. It
hasn't been like 2 weeks. It was like they came out, and then there was one like 2.5 weeks, and the next one was like, I'm sorry, 2 months. Sorry.
Yeah.
The next one was 2 months, and then it was like 2.5. So I think that's accurate, but it does seem to be every 2 to 3 months they're gonna really. I mean, they're making too much money on it to not keep doing it.
I mean, I agree. I thought I heard that somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and even if they had or hadn't, I wouldn't, put any faith in anything they say, because they tend to go back on their word quite often, or just forget that they said something, right?
That's true.
I think that I haven't understood forever why they don't just make it a permanent fixture in the stores. But it did occur to me recently that by making it a rotating event that comes and goes, it enables a more consistent revenue stream over time. And a lot of businesses want to operate that way. They don't want a big lump sum of cash. They want to ensure the revenue. So I think that kind of makes sense. And that might be why they do some of these weird shenanigans they're doing. I think the game is in a pretty good state, though. Actually, I think it's in a really good state, and I think that the porting to PC is a good indicator of investment, because it's not always easy. Especially going from like Android to Windows, is can be easy, or it can be a complete rewrite. And they are clearly investing in some of the artwork. The newer models look better. They're updating some old characters. So there is some unnecessary investment in the older legacy components. At the same time, though, they continue to have major gaffes in messaging, inconsistencies. And then, well, how was your territory battle this week, gentlemen?
Yep, I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Honestly, it was a nice break. I'll be honest. I didn't mind getting, a week. I wouldn't mind having a week off from something, like once a quarter. Give us a week off from something and just give us a reward. It was kind of nice, actually. So
yes.
Yeah, I won't complain. Our last one, we got our highest score. So hopefully I get that again. But they said that they're going to release that in like a day or two. Didn't they say that? Like
probably on the Thursday update.
Yeah, Thursday update. That makes sense. Yeah.
They usually come out on Thursday, right? I think so.
It'll come out. They got to let people complain for a while and then release it. You can't release something before people have been complaining for at least a week. So yeah.
I also have a little bit more positive outlook on the game because of the kits that we're getting from the Gungan faction, the naming conventions, the behaviors, the effort to be more thematic to the franchise, right? Like Jar Jar. I know we have moved on. I'm going back, but like Jar Jar stepping on the drone, slapping his foot around, right? And then the randomness in there. I think it's really good, and I think that's an effort to appease and maintain the franchise. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, to me, it seems like they are paying a lot more attention to what people have been asking for this year. They want a different raid. We've been asking for Jar Jar. We want a PC version. I think that they've, so far this year, been taking a lot of our wants into consideration what they're developing. We can probably go into this in a second, but I really, really hope they add a few more things that have been less talked about, because I feel like those things so far that we've mentioned have been pretty common things. I hope they will do some more quality of life stuff and fleshing out of a few things. But it seems like overall, compared to last time we talked, I think we're in a better place now than we were before.
I think, generally speaking, I think the game is in the best place it maybe has ever been. I've played since the beginning, and I remember when the Revens came out, and then Darth Maul came out right afterward, and like 30% of people just quit. They're like, well, this is just they just want $1,000 a month, regardless of whether and I think it took them a while to really bring the game around to where it wasn't that over and over and over again in your face. Like, you got to spend to be at the top of the game. I think it started, the big turnaround started when they moved the crystals from Squad Arena to Grand Arena. I think that was a gigantic deal for this game over time. And I know it's been a few years now, well, 2 years, I don't know how long it's been, but and doing that, I think, has opened up the game to more free-to-play players. And I think the game is a better free-to-play journey right now than it has ever been, and it's really not close. And then I also think that the Lightspeed bundles are giving people that catch-up mechanic that, you always feel like you're behind, and it's different than it used to be. Like I mentioned, it used to be Squad Arenas where you get your crystals, and it was always like if Squad Arena was going today, it would be the newest Galactic Legend would be the best Galactic Legend, period. And we just don't have that. Like, I know that Jabba was dominant in Grand Arena for a long time, but that was because of Datacrons. You get a straight out Jabba team out there, and my Kylo can kill it. It's every time. If there's no Datacrons, and the mods are comparable. So all the Galactic and there's counters and everything, but I just think they've built in a lot of balance to the game, a lot of balanced farming. They brought in with moving things to the guild store. They made it better. I just think that the game experience is better for everybody overall, and I think that the PC version points to a lot more shelf life for this game. They're not going to build that PC version 8+ years into a game and then look when they're looking to shut a game down. So we've got a long way to go with this game, and it's going to be a long, slow burn before this game is ever gone.
I agree.
Totally agree with your perspective, though I think that there are probably two perspectives in there. I think that if you are not aiming for the Kyber levels, Kyber 1, 2, I think everything you said is 100% accurate. I think if you are aiming for the Kyber 1, 2s, there's still a lot of frustration with like constant remodding to maintain, high territory war, GAC, raiding stuff. Like every time I go in to do my raid, I'm actually aiming for 16, 18 million points, which means I do have to remod Leia, and I have to I don't have to, but to maximize my score, like I'll take like Sherpa Wicket and Colonel Stark, and I'll get 2.7 out of that. But if I don't mod it, I'm going to get like 2.3, right? So I think that there are definitely some frustrations that need to be worked out, but I think everybody maybe sub K3, and I don't know, I'm not in that level exactly. I think we are in the best place it's been for opportunity for fun engagement.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to go this avenue or that avenue or this one, right? If you don't want Revan, don't get Revan. My alt is 5 million GP. I'm going to have my third GL next month in May. I don't have Revan. I don't have Darth Revan. I don't have Malik. I don't care. Like, they're not needed for my roster, right? I love it. I think it's great. You get your Phoenix early, you get one character Rex, you got a fun squad, right?
Yep.
Same with so many other squads.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
really
I
gonna.
agree.
Yeah, we're gonna test that. My viewers voted on a new account for me, and I'll be taking. I'm gonna have that announcement out tomorrow, and I'm gonna start it next week. So we're gonna have some fun, and it's a completely different journey than anything you'd want to do. So, yeah, there you go.
That's
I'm
cool.
excited.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Cup leads smugglers, huh? That's interesting.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I refuse to do that. I'm not doing that. No. I'm like, we
Good.
can do a meme farm, but I'm not doing Cup and I'm a Gundai. I'm not doing that stuff. You can keep it.
I'll watch. I think he's going to be amazing in the new raid.
Cup is?
No. I'm a gun. He said, I'm a Gundai. I'm a Gundy. Yeah, I couldn't say
Gotcha.
that now. No,
Gotcha.
I bet Eth Koth, I'm a Gundy, and then there was one other. Who's the other? There's another counselor that just doesn't get touched.
Fisto?
Yeah, that's it. Fisto. And I could even see Guardian and Consular having
Well, yeah,
special abilities.
because they want you to relic them.
Yeah.
They want you to get them
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Eth Koth was originally built in 2015 with anti-droid synergy. That was his whole thing. So, maybe.
Whoa. Some Jar Jar
Interesting.
Eat Koth synergy. Here.
Like a phoenix from the ashes, Eth Koth. Okay.
Now,
What, Gerbil? What do you say? Sorry.
I was gonna add, if the raid we get though, if the Naboo raid is just kill a million B1s like in the current Galactic Conquest, then I'm gonna probably eat a lot of my words about happiness, because that's not gonna make me happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't.
Yeah.
Depending
I don't
on what
wanna-
you take in, that might be
I
better than
hope we
auto.
get. Yes. Yeah. I hope we get some tanks and other stuff like on the actual Naboo battlefield.
There will be.
That would be fun.
There will be. All right, gentlemen.
I
So
hope
I
so.
think we've reached that point of the show where, and so we've already had Asteroid Mech rank his movies, but we haven't ever done like a TV show ranking on here. And so let's spend a little. We gotta flush it out because the TV show rankings is a little more difficult because there's a lot of TV shows. I mean, you can go back to the holiday special, although that was on TV. Maybe we wouldn't call that a TV show. That was a special. So, I think we were going back all the way to droids in the early 80s, right? Right, Gerbil? You were looking up the list?
Yeah. 1985, the animated series featuring R2 and C3PO on various adventures.
And believe it or not, I remember when that came out. So that's me. Yeah, there you go.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. So let's, and I don't know if we're going to include all those, but we kind of discussed a little bit. I don't know how do you guys want to go through this. I know the Asteroid Mech's got a list put together. Gerbil, you're doing, I'm going to be more of a moderator here. So maybe we just start talking about the TV shows at the bottom and work our way up. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Let's start with you, Asteroid Matt. Give us your bottom. How about your bottom tier? Let's do that. Because we'll be here all day if we do. But give us your bottom tier for Star Wars TV shows.
Okay. I will say I've only put the ones on here that I've seen, and so I'm sorry, but Droids was not on my list. But bottom tier, so not necessarily ranking, but like, do you want to do like 3 at a time?
Yeah, go for it.
So? Okay. My bottom 3 is Visions, Boba Fett, and Kenobi. I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes of Visions, and for context, I don't like anime or Western media interpretations of that art style. It's just not my thing. And there was like an episode where there's like this punk rock kid trying to play at the Boonta Eve pod race for Jabba, and I was just like, no, I'm not fit. I didn't finish the episode. I couldn't finish it. It's not for me. Not for me. I know that there's some cool fights in there. Too wacky for me. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I think that's self-explanatory. They didn't have a plot for the show when they went to shoot it, and then they said, "Oh, you know what? We'll just put the premiere of Mando season 3 in here. I guess I don't know." So that's the only redeemable part about that show is the Mandalorian stuff. When Disney first bought Star Wars, the first thing I wanted when I heard that was, oh my God, they're finally going to make the Boba Fett movie. And I was so excited. And however many years later, it is the most disappointing and best example of the Disney Plus format not working. And it's abysmal. I'm mad that they shot this. And then Kenobi, I think the best word to describe Kenobi is mid. It's like whatever. Like you could not watch it and your life would be fine. And if you watch it, I mean, just binge it in a night and I guess turn your brain off and maybe you'll enjoy the lightsaber scenes surrounded by complete darkness in a flat field. But it's just boring. It's just not interesting. They don't do anything. And the fact that the fans have been asking for a Kenobi TV show for so long, and then this is what they put out, is just kind of sad that this is the best they could come up with. Now, I personally, whenever I heard people talk about an Obi-Wan show, I always felt like they should have done pre-episode 1 instead of between 3 and 4. But they went with the post-episode 4, and it was as boring as I thought it was going to be. So that's my bottom 3.
A couple of things I'll say. Grown men chasing a little girl and they can't catch her, and they let her run. You know, they let her get a head start every time for whatever reason. And you mentioned a couple things there. They've refused to recast any of the roles and go to different like generations of it. Like, you know, why not go back and look at a young Obi-Wan and recast him, or why not recast Boba Fett? Like, he's too old to do the job. You know, why not? Well, I think a lot of their limitations were they got these 60-year-old people out there, and they can't do a lot of great action with 60-year-old people. Why not cast a 30-year-old guy that, you know, might really fit into the role?
Now, I would mostly agree with you. However, the big thing is that Boba Fett's return in Mando Season 2 was amazing. It was awesome. And that was Tamara Morrison. I loved that sequence. So I think they could have done it. And I mean, maybe they could do halfway where they just had a guy in the bodysuit the whole time. And then for the talking sequences, which was pretty much the entire show, for the talking sequences, you could just have Tamara Morrison in the suit. And then for the action sequence, the other guy. And just have Tim voice over. Like they do the same thing with Pedro Pascal and Din. So I don't know. There's so many ways they could have done it. But the Spy Kids director decided to go with that one, I guess, in the speeder bike gang. That was really great. So
I'm just waiting for the squad to hit the game.
No. All right.
All right.
Oh my God.
So I will bring a little
faction.
bit of a different take to that. So I think that we are sitting looking at these TV shows and ranking them with a very different perspective than the average person out there subscribing to Disney Plus. I think honestly, most people who watch these shows log in. They just want to see Star Wars, sci-fi, space Jedi, wizards with swords and whatever. So I tend to look at them with a different perspective. I started to do a whole vid on this one, right? Is Disney really that bad for TV and Star Wars? And I actually don't have the same take on it. I think we all fall a little bit victim to the internet crowdsourcing and redefining our own expectations on this. Because like if you take a look at the Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars, and the final seasons, the final 2 seasons were Disney. The beginnings were not. And the beginning, like if you look at IMDb, you look at Rotten Tomatoes, you look at people in the forums, anywhere, it's pretty universally agreed the ending was way, way better in terms of scripting, storytelling, music, cinematography, everything. And without Disney's influx of cash, we wouldn't have almost any of these shows to even talk about, right? Like we wouldn't have Mandalorian at all, we wouldn't have Bad Batch, we wouldn't have Andor. And regardless what our feelings are about it, like I'm just pulling up IMDb, they've got really good ratings. Like they're really well liked by the general public. So I think it's important that we at least be aware of that sometimes, right? And so like starting with the shows I don't like, there's at least 16 that I can find on the list now, and there's more, I'm sure, but I'm gonna make somebody's head explode. And the absolute worst shows of Star Wars, I'm gonna put Ewoks. It is a disaster, the cartoon.
Wait,
if you
hold on. So, are we all listening? Are we all writing this down? This is
no.
Gerbil
The cartoon is horrible.
I wouldn't know.
I tried to get my 5-year-old into it, and we sat down to watch the first episode, and it was like 15 minutes in, and I'm sitting there looking at my watch going, is this gonna end soon? I was like, okay. He didn't even like it, and I was like, yeah, we're not moving on to episode 2, buddy. Don't worry, it's okay. So, and that's pre-Disney, right? The Christmas special was pre-Disney, right? And if you think of the absolute worst failures, they're not Disney, actually. I'm not saying Disney's amazing or anything like that. I'm just saying the worst failures were not Disney. So yeah, I'm putting Ewoks among the worst. I agree with Book of Boba Fett. I enjoyed it, honestly. I enjoyed quite a lot of it. The first 3 episodes, I think, were really, really good. The whole Tusken integration. When he went in the hut and he picked up that lizard thing and it just jumped up his nose and he was like, it got away from him. I was rolling on the floor laughing so much. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
He goes on a hallucinogenic quest to find a yeah. I thought that was I thought but I thought that the way he was integrated into the Tusken community and the story there, I loved that aspect of culture building in Star Wars. And then Boba Fett just disappeared from his own show. That more than the Vespas, more than anything else, I was like, where is Boba in the Boba show? Right? Was it 2 episodes? Basically, he was missing.
Yeah,
2 episodes. One of them.
And then the final battle, he's riding a Rancor that he just got as a pet, and I'm like, what? And no. So that ruined it on so many levels. But I still enjoyed the entertainment aspect of it. But I'm not going to go back and rewatch that show. It's just it's done, right? I've seen it. It's over. It's not a rewatch. So Book of Boba Fett, Ewoks. I really did not like Clone Wars season 1, and I'm going to kind of break Clone Wars into groups there.
Oh boy,
I think season 1 was miserable. And then I'm going to blow your minds again. I have not seen the Bad Batch, so I can't comment on that one. Just FYI.
I'm not going to get into the rankings. I'll just discuss with you guys. But like Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, these are shows where I've watched highlights and I've tried to watch them through, and I can't sit through them. And I think it's partially a generational thing. I've done the first few episodes of each of them, and then I just kind of fade off. And it's not even on purpose because I really want to sit down there and watch it, but they just don't grab me and pull me in. And
You're
but
gonna love my ranking here,
I get
Nooch.
that.
yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not even saying they're bad. I'm saying that I just because I know a lot of people, you know, of that are your age, Asteroid Mech. Their first introduction to Star Wars is Clone Wars.
Yep. The Clone Wars movie was the first. I watched Star Wars before that, but the Clone Wars
movie. Wow.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing that got me into it. I was 4, 5 when that came out. So I saw Captain Rex and Obi-Wan, and now I have a spending addiction. So that the movie did something for me.
That movie was an hour-long nap.
It's better
for
to
me,
buy
so.
better to buy the action figures than invest in the game. Honestly.
All right.
It's more permanent.
Let's move up a tier here. Asteroid Mech, give us your next tier of shows.
All right, next tier. I will say, if I was to put this on a tier list, those would be like F tier, and then these would be like C tier. So we're large jump up from those bottom 3. And Nooch, you're gonna love this one, Ahsoka. I honestly liked Ahsoka. I know it's kind of bad to say on this channel. I know we're not huge fans here, but
No.
I will say, I know I'm gonna just mess with you, but I thought that it is a proper continuation of Rebels. I think me being really into the animes, obviously that makes a lot of sense. I'm really invested in those stories. I will say the biggest thing going against it, 2 things. They completely butchered Sabine's character in that show. Like, I don't even know what they did to Sabine. That was awful. Yeah, I don't know what they did there. And 2, the show would have been so much better if it was animated, or if they just continued Rebels season 5. If they want to do Ahsoka, it should have been animated. Absolutely should have been animated. The fight sequences at the end were so bland and boring in live action. If that was animated, that would have been the coolest thing ever. I don't know. I think they absolutely should have gone with the animated stuff. It's cool to see Thrawn in live action. And Ahsoka, obviously, Huyang. I love Huyang. He was a great character in there. I think the story overall is fine. I enjoyed it. Every single week I showed up. I was super happy about it. Anakin and the World Between Worlds and the Clone Wars flashbacks. Loved that. Again, obviously. But I think just the choreography, the direction, and the stiff acting was just not it. It wasn't it.
Okay. What else is on your C tier?
Next up, now this is going to be a little slanderous here. Oh, I accidentally just deleted my whole list. Okay, well, I remember it. Anyways, I have it in my notes app.
And you're taking finals right now? Good Lord. I actually just deleted my term paper.
Okay, whatever. Maybe a little bit slanderous here, and maybe this is more B tier than C tier, but The Mandalorian. I think season 1 was a good introduction. It got a lot of people back into Star Wars after the sequels. I think that's great. Season 2 was a cameo fest, but I loved it. I think they should have maybe made it a little more richer of a story than just, oh my God, Ahsoka and Bo-Katan are on screen. But I really, really, really enjoyed it every single week. I showed up. I was loving it. I was eating that up. I loved that. Season 3, I would put season 3 like D tier. That really was so disappointing. I saw this tweet the other day, and I'm not going to call it an X. I saw this tweet the other day of someone saying, I've been dreaming about the Mandalorians retaking their homeworld for a decade, and I felt nothing watching the finale. It was really, and it was a hit tweet. Like, there's hundreds of thousands of likes apparently on this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just thought it was really bland and generic. I think the stuff they did with Moff Gideon was so disappointing because they set him up to be such an amazing character, and he just comes out and says, I'm cloning myself, and I'm force sensitive, and also I have a really cool like mech suit, and also and then I die.
Was he force sensitive? Why is everybody force sensitive?
He was trying to make force sensitive clones of himself.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he was after Grogu.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was trying.
You know, the thing about Mandalorian Season 3 is they tried to make it episodic and also building to a cumulative story at the same time, and you just got to pick one or the other. You can't do them.
Well,
you know.
I will say, it is absolutely working for the Bad Batch right now. I'll get to that ranking in a minute, but they're doing that exact same format with the Bad Batch, and once you get through the first half of season 1, it really starts working. They do that format. So,
Anything else in your C or B tier here?
um,
I'm worried we have a lot of TV shows and we don't want to be here for another hour. Sorry, guys.
I have 6 more, so I guess I'll throw in. This is probably high B tier. 2003 Clone Wars. I think that's a really fun one. I don't have too much to say about it. I watched it. I mean, the storytelling. I mean, it's not really supposed to be a super rich story. It's supposed to be really cool action sequences exploring the war, and they also adapt a lot of that stuff into lore later with mentions of it in Clone Wars, especially in season 7. They mention a bunch of it, events that happen in it, anyways. So I think it's really fun. I think there's a lot better stories, but as like a cool little cartoon, I think it's amazing. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to our resident Disney apologist, Gerbil, for his next set of rankings.
Look at that. Look what you've done there. All right. Yeah, so I would say in the same mid-range categories, I'd put the 2nd through 4th series of the Clone Wars. I think it gets better as you watch it. And that was really hard for me. Like, people kept saying, don't give it up, don't give it up. And I was like, okay. And I forced myself, and I really enjoyed it. Same on The Mandalorian. I think that season 2 and then 3, they're mid-tiers. They're fun. They're really good. You just love Grogu. Anything with him is cute and enjoyable. Little creepy when he's literally eating the only babies of that frog species. You're just like, wow, okay. You are literally committing genocide here for fun and laughs. All right, great.
And that one did not hit.
So, yeah, no. I don't think people realize what was happening there. I put Kenobi in this area, actually, not in the bottom tier, because I really, really liked seeing Vader and the Inquisitors on live action. Even though I don't think they were all portrayed the best, I don't think we got enough screen time of them the best. It was very minimal, but I loved the interactions between Vader and the Grand Inquisitor. Especially when Vader is telling him pursue Kenobi, and Grand Inquisitor is like, my lord, if we go after the whatever, we can crush this rebellion now. And Vader's like, no. And you can see in the background, Grand Inquisitor's like, you can see his anger and frustration. He knows Vader's wrong, but yeah, that is what it is. And I think the Moses, aka Reva, I think she got a really bad rap out of that show. Unfortunately, you can't fault her for the dialogue or the script. She's an actress. But moving on, Tales of the Jedi. I really enjoyed that show. I put it in the mid rankings because I wish the episodes were longer. I wish there was a little bit more backstory to it. Again, like on the Inquisitor line, we see a new Inquisitor and then we don't see him. He's dead, right? It's like, who, what, where? Tell me more, please. I want to know. I want more Yaddle screen time. And trying to get through this quick, I think that wraps up my mid tier. Back to you, Nooch.
I'm just gonna say, yeah, I like all you guys, everything you're saying. My beef with Mandalorian is I think that Astromech was right that it was a big cameo fest for 2 seasons. And I remember the first episode when Grogu gets revealed at the end, we like lost our minds. And then he said his entire quest was going to be to find him and get him back to his people. And then they turned his people into Jedi. And then we've never gone back to so I hope what they do with the movie is getting Grogu back to his people. And that's because they're going to culminate it. That's what they should do. I don't know if that's what they're going to do or not. That could be a fun storyline. I'd love to learn more about this race and maybe tell us some more stories about the Yoda Yaddle race. So, yeah. Asteroid, back you. Let's keep moving. Keep this train going.
All right, I'll pick up the pace here. I got top five. In case you haven't picked up on it, I love the animated stuff, and there's only one live action show in here. Next up, number 5, Bad Batch. I am gripped season 3 right now. Season 3 is great. I woke up earlier than this recording to watch the Bad Batch, and we recorded this at like 7 a.m. I'm hooked. I love it. The beginning, the first episode of the show is like an hour long. It's amazing. And then the first half, maybe middle of season 1, is really, really boring. Picks up at the end. And then season 2 starts. It's a really slow first half. And then at the end, ever since you get to that mid-season 2, after that, completely, it's amazing stuff right after that, completely. So, I mean, having a third or a quarter of your show be kind of boring. I mean, I'll put it number 5, but right now I'm absolutely loving Bad Batch. I'm eating it up. Same kind of tier, Tales of the Jedi, number 4. I think the stories that they have in there with Count Dooku is S tier.
Yeah.
The Count Dooku stuff they do in there is amazing.
Agreed.
The 2 biggest issues I have with the show is the first and the last episode. The last episode, they half retcon the Ahsoka novel and make it a much watered down, more boring version that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then the first episode is completely unnecessary and actually kind of, I mean, not entirely, but kind of goes against what we've established already. In Clone Wars, we know that, in case you don't know, this is the episode where Ahsoka is like born or something. Ahsoka is a child, and then they discover that she's got force powers. In the Clone Wars show, they have her on some different. It's a completely different looking planet and environment in a flashback, and they have Plo Koon pick her up to the Jedi Temple. It looks a little very different from the Clone Wars animated stuff. But, I mean, they retcon those kind of little things all the time. That's okay. So the first and the last episodes, I think, are but the middle stuff is amazing. Love it. So that's kind of my not quite that's my A tier.
Go all the way to the top. Finish it off.
All right.
All the way to the top? Okay.
All right.
Rebels next. Rebels is amazing. I think season 1 really it's very childish. It's very boring. I like the Grand Inquisitor in it. The dynamic between Hera and Kanan and Ezra, I think, is really good. But outside of that, there's really not much going for season 1. Season 2 is kind of the same thing as Bad Batch. The first half is kind of boring, and then it picks up at the end. And then season 3 and 4 is just amazing. So I'm very. I had more time to be invested in those characters than I have in Bad Batch so far. So that's why I put it higher. And it's also a little bit longer, which is, in my opinion, a benefit. But I think that I think Rebels has the most fluff out of any Star Wars TV show. So I think you could cut down that, and that'd be higher. Number 2, Andor. I mean, I loved Rogue One. Last time I was here, I ranked Rogue One number 2, and this is a proper continuation of Rogue One. Well, I guess it's a prequel, but Andor is amazing, dark, adult sci-fi, espionage, spy stuff. It's super cool. I have no complaints. Super excited for season 2. And number 1, Clone Wars. I kind of owe all this to that. Wouldn't be here without that movie. And I know the first 2 seasons, well, really first 2.5 seasons, also, again, very childish. Animation is awful, but I mean, I just look at it as growing pains. I look at it as growing pains, and they got the kids interested. Yeah. I was one of those. So first 2.5 seasons, I'm in the camp of people that can forgive it. And seasons 3 through 7 are my favorite piece of media ever. So yeah, I'm very biased there, but that's my ranking. Yeah.
No, I have to agree with you on the Rebels. Rebels and the Clone Wars. The later it goes, the better it gets. Rebels in particular, like when I started that, I had absolutely no expectations. Similar to NOOCH, I'm not a huge animated series fan. It's hard to get into them. But when I started watching Rebels, I was like, okay, it's moderately entertaining. I'll keep going. And then by the end of it, it's only 4 seasons. I started to observe that some of the background music is, I think, absolutely the best sound and music in Star Wars, period. It rivals anything else anywhere I've heard. It's so popular that you can find some of them as like playlists on YouTube. It is really good music. And then I think the best character death scene, not that you should celebrate that, but the best character death scene in all of the franchises is in Rebels. And surprisingly, by the time I finished that series, I think Kanan is probably maybe my top character, my favorite character in the whole Star Wars galaxy. I think that Kanan was an amazing character, very well designed, very believable, one of the coolest Jedi. Like if I could meet a Jedi, that would be it. I'd want to meet Kanan. And I loved how much that they expanded and explained some of the nuances of the Force through Kanan and his interactions with Ezra. And then when you get into the whole, like the world between worlds and Bindu, is it Bindu? Bindu, right?
Yeah.
Introducing the concept of force capable entities that, like, if you think Sith Eternal's powerful, Bindu would come into this game and just be like, you're dead. Your whole squad. I don't care. Just instant win, potentially. I like when he opened. No, I don't want to go there. It was really cool. So I geek out hard on that one. Andor cinematography was beautiful. The settings was just gorgeous. The lighting was good. The contrast between the Empire, the setups, like you said, kind of spy v spy. Like if you like Tom Clancy and stuff, Jack Ryan and all those book series, this is kind of your version of Star Wars. And I love that stuff. And then Mandalorian season 1. I think that just opened the floodgates for so many things and just started a whole new era for Star Wars TV. And this is why Disney apologist, Rebels, Mando season 1, Andor, Kenobi, not Kenobi, but Ahsoka. Like those are all Disney, and they're like all in my top there. And I think that Ahsoka, definitely has its flaws, but every single scene with Thrawn just had goosebumps. Like he was so cool to see. And then again, the flashback to the world between worlds where she actually fights Anakin. I was like, that was so cool. She's battling her master there. I think that's stellar. And if Skeleton Crew and Acolyte like build upon those and qualities, then I think it's going to be a good year the next 2.
It's really interesting to me, and I'm not ranking these, but if I'm at the top of it, I'm going with Andor and the final story of Clone Wars. What was it, 4 or 5 episodes that mirrored Revenge of the Sith, where we see what's going on with Ahsoka basically in Order 66. I thought that was tremendous, and the whole Maul storyline. And then Andor is really a great show, and I look forward to season 2 of that. I mean, I think they're working on season 2 of that. I just don't get Ahsoka. I just don't get it. And I've said it a lot, so I don't want to harp on it, but so much standing around and doing nothing and talking, and if one more person gets stabbed with a lightsaber and then recovers within a day, or it recovers at all, I might just be out, and I might just say I can't watch anybody. They've got to stop doing that. They need to make a lightsaber a deadly weapon again. It needs to matter. It needs to be something that you kill another person with or maim them. Why aren't we cutting off limbs anymore? Why aren't we I mean, that was where Lucas settled. Like, I can't have Luke getting his head cut off, which would be pretty easy to have done. It's not like this is a sword and you got a big suit of chain metal, whatever, that's stopping it. This is a lightsaber, cuts through everything, but we can't cut off Darth Vader's entire legs. Well, no, we did. Never mind. You know what I'm saying? We can have people maimed on these shows, and we've got to get back. We've got to be able to do these kind of things. And even if let's say you stab somebody and they live, there's got to be some consequences of that affect them throughout the entire journey. These characters need to go on journeys in these shows, and I think that's what's missing. Is there's just no. Sabine was the same in the first episode as she was in the last episode. Ahsoka didn't change throughout the whole show. She learned nothing. Excuse me. Anyway, that's my beef, and I'm more of a live action guy than an animated guy. I'll say one last thing here. Visions. It doesn't leave anything with me, but the one episode that was black and white with the character that had the red crystals. I thought that was amazing. I would watch that again. That was the one that stands out to me, head and shoulders above the rest. The rest of it just kind of fades off. So, anyway, what, Gerbil?
Talking about lightsabers, have you seen the recent meme that was, I think on Reddit, of Chuck Norris holding the lightsaber?
Oh, upside down?
Upside down.
Chuck Norris looking like, Luke Skywalker holding the lightsaber upside down. He's gripping the blade, yeah.
Yeah, it took me a moment. I was looking at that and I was like, what's so funny about it? And then I almost died when I caught that it's upside down. He's just going to beat you with the handle.
Well, in my
Okay,
town,
anyway.
no, they used to have a street called Chuck Norris, but they had to change the name of the street because nobody crosses Chuck Norris and lives.
No one crosses.
Anyway,
Yep.
let's wrap it up. Asteroid Mech, give us some final words. How's the channel going? Anything you got going on you want to tell us about?
I'm doing good right now. My channel, we've just been kind of been streaming GAC a lot and some Conquest. We just got Darth Bane, so want to come see Darth Bane gameplay? Come on over here. Yeah, we've just been kind of having fun, relaxing. We do some fun content over there. I don't really have anything else to shout out. I'm Asteroid Mech on YouTube. I'm on pretty much every social media platform. Yeah.
All right, check out Asteroid Mech again. Gerbil, what do you got going on? I know you've been busy and stuff, so.
Man, I've been reclusive, a bit of a hermit gerbil these days, but I have all my Gungans ready to go. As soon as Jar Jar hits the board, for characters I love, like the AdRad team, the Inquisitors, I typically will do a series of about 10 to 15 vids, just posting videos against different teams. I'll drop my arena ranking so I can go down and actually find something other than GLs. So look forward to that. I hope to get some Jar Jar action out there and just see, what can he beat, what can he not beat, and I know other people will do that, but mine will be spread out over a couple weeks, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So check it out over the Gerbil.
Yep, and my plan is to unlock and test Gerbil on day one. At the moment he comes out, I'll probably be streaming right next to Arnold, but we'll see what happens then. I'm going to have some fun. I've never done this before, so my channel's kind of going new directions with the new accounts. We're going to have some fun. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Asteroid Mech Gerbil, it's good to have spend some time together this morning. I hope you have great days, everybody out there. Enjoy yourself. We'll talk to you soon, and always remember, NOOCH, a Gerbil, and Asteroid Mech. Too good.